this evening. First, the Special Organized Crime Unit has issued a wanted bulletin for Zheng Jingfang, a Chinese national linked to money laundering and other serious offenses. We'll bring you the latest on this developing story. Next, in response to the alarming rise in human trafficking, the Ministry of Human Services and Social Security has launched a new law to combat this grave issue. Find out how this initiative aims to protect vulnerable migrants and enforce stricter penalties for traffickers. Then, Vice President Barjagio sets the timeline for Ghana's next general and regional elections, likely between October and November 2025. We'll tell you what this means for the political landscape and the preparations underway to ensure a transparent election process. Also, in a major drug bust, police seized over 30 pounds of marijuana in two separate operations, including the arrest of a police constable. Get the details on how these operations unfolded and what it means for the fight against narcotics. And in international news, tragedy strikes in Somalia as a car bomb exploded in Mogadishu, leaves at least 5 dead and 20 injured. Stay with us for more on these stories coming up on tonight's broadcast. Welcome to this broadcast of Channel 2's Headline News Update for July 16th, 2024. I am Baby Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. First up, the Special Organized Crime Unit SOCO of the Ghana Police Force has issued a wanted bulletin for Zheng Jingfang, a 45-year-old Chinese national, in connection with money laundering and other serious offenses. Fang's last known address was Lot 47 New Road, Vreeden Hoop, West Coast, Demerara. Authorities urge anyone with information on Fang's whereabouts to contact SOCO at 225-3079 or the nearest police station. The wanted bulletin follows a significant law enforcement operation last week, where police dismantled a transnational criminal group in Guyana. The interagency intelligence operation led to the arrest of 3 Chinese nationals at a city hotel on Tuesday, July 9, 2024. The suspects, 2 men and a woman, are allegedly involved in gold smuggling and other illegal activities. During the operation, officers confiscated $39 million in cash and an unlicensed 9mm pistol loaded with 15 rounds. The investigation continues as SOCO seeks Fang for questioning related to the serious crimes. Police seized over 30 pounds of marijuana in 2 operations, arrest 4 suspects. Dale Jarvis has more details.
In an intelligence-led operation, police officers from Special Branch and Regional Police Division 4B seized over 10 pounds of marijuana on the Soesdijk-Linden Highway on Monday, July 15, 2024. The operation occurred around 2:30 p.m. when a red Toyota Sienna vehicle with license plate HD 4281 traveling west was stopped near Hillfoot. Upon searching the vehicle, officers discovered 2 boxes in the trunk containing leaves, seeds, and stems suspected to be marijuana. The driver, a 20-year-old male from Wismar Linden, was apprehended along with 2 passengers, a 40-year-old male from Amelia's Ward Linden and a 21-year-old female from Campbell Street, Alboystown. During questioning, the driver admitted to being tasked with transporting the narcotics to Georgetown. The suspects and the seized narcotics were taken to the Diamond Police Station. The investigation is ongoing. Also on Monday around 5 p.m., a 29-year-old police constable was arrested during an intelligence-led operation by Special Branch and Regional Police Division 4. The operation led to the discovery of over 20 pounds of marijuana. The constable, driving a white Toyota Premio with license plate PYY 4027, was stopped at Garden of Eden Public Road, East Bank, Demerara. During the search, he admitted to having narcotics in the car. Officers found a cardboard box in the trunk containing 2 bulky parcels wrapped in plastic, which were confirmed to contain cannabis leaves, seeds, and stems. The constable was informed of the allegations, cautioned, and remained silent. The seized narcotics, weighing 9.6 kilograms, were marked, sealed, and lodged as evidence. The constable was taken into custody and the investigation continues. Reporting for Headline News Update, Dale Jarvis.
Thanks, Dale. Migrants seeking refuge in Guyana comprise 90% of the alleged victims of human trafficking, prompting the need for stringent measures to combat this serious issue. In response, the Ministry of Human Services and Social Security, in collaboration with the Ministry of Home Affairs, hosted a workshop on Monday to inform stakeholders about their roles and responsibilities under the new Combating of Trafficking in Persons law. Human trafficking is a grave violation of human rights, involving the exploitation of individuals through force, fraud, or coercion. Victims are often subjected to sexual exploitation, forced labor, or domestic captivity. The new law in Guyana addresses these issues by imposing stricter penalties on perpetrators and enhancing protective measures for victims. During the workshop, stakeholders were briefed on the updated legal framework, which includes more severe punishment for traffickers and comprehensive support system for survivors. The Ministry of Human Services and Social Security emphasized the critical need for a coordinated approach to effectively tackling human trafficking and ensure the safety and well-being of migrants and other vulnerable groups. Minister of Human Services and Social Security, Dr. Vinder Prasad, highlighted the importance of collective action in eradicating human trafficking. The Ministry of Home Affairs also reiterated its dedication to strengthening law enforcement efforts and improving collaboration with international partners to dismantle trafficking networks. The workshop served as a platform for various agencies, including law enforcement, social services, and non-governmental organizations, to share insights and develop strategies for effectively implementing the new law. With the introduction of the Combating of Trafficking in Persons law, Ghana takes a significant step forward in addressing human trafficking, providing a safer environment for migrants and ensuring that justice is served for victims. If you or someone you know is a victim of human trafficking, call the ministry's 914 hotline now. Stick around when we return. ExxonMobil's 7th oil project to boost Ghana's production and upcoming general and regional elections in Guyana, likely in late 2025.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for do a surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Smart Minds Educational Institute, offering preschool, nursery, and primary levels. Finally, a school that is every parent's dream. Located at 69 Crow Street, offering academic excellence, trained qualified teachers, small class sizes, personalized gear, and one-to-one attention for your little ones. At Smart Minds, register for full-time or evening classes, daily practice pass exam papers for proficiency at the grade 2, 4, and 6 assessment, and CXE exam preparedness. Or join our Becca Phonics reading and writing program. So if your child is for preschool, nursery, or primary level, come to Smart Mind, located at 69 Street, or call 231-4885 or 600-9229 to enroll now.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
Sneakily with a gift of sight from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Our smiles make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services, 316 Mill Street, Georgetown. Telephone 226-1082.
Welcome back. ExxonMobil is planning its seventh oil project in Guyana's Hammerhead field, aiming to increase the country's oil production by 120,000 to 180,000 barrels per day by 2029. This project, alongside 6 others, could push Guyana's total oil output to approximately 1.5 million barrels per day. The Environmental Protection Agency has started reviewing ExxonMobil's application and has requested an environmental impact assessment due to potential environmental impacts such as effects on marine water and air quality. Public can submit their concerns to the EPA for consideration in the EIA. The Hammerhead project will involve drilling 14 to 30 wells and using a floating production, storage, and offloading vessel capable of storing 1.4 to 2 million barrels of oil. Third-party tankers will export the oil internationally. This project is expected to boost Guyana's economy through increased national revenue, local procurement, and job opportunities. In other news, Vice President Barry Jagdeo has indicated that Guyana's next general and regional elections will probably occur between October and November of 2025. This announcement came during a press conference last Thursday, where Dr. Jagdeo, also the General Secretary of the People's Progressive Party, dismissed rumors of an early election. These rumors stem from Alliance for Change leader Nigel Hughes, who suggested on social media that the PPPC is in election mode, citing public meetings held by government ministers. Hughes also emphasized the need for census results and a clean electoral list before any elections. Vice President Jagdeo refuted these claims, emphasizing the government's commitment to a transparent election process. He announced that a detailed manual outlining all election participants' duties, responsibilities, and rights would be prepared and distributed well before the elections to ensure transparency. This manual will also guide the officers of the Guyana Elections Commission and the polling agents, clarifying procedures to prevent confusion on elections day. Don't go away after the break. Kenya protesters called for President Ruto to resign following abduction and police violence, and Trump receives hero's welcome at RNC in first appearance since being shot.
Smart Minds Educational Institute, offering preschool, nursery, and primary levels. Finally, a school that is every parent's dream. Located at 69 Crow Street, offering academic excellence, trained qualified teachers, small class sizes, personalized gear, and one-to-one attention for your little ones. At Smart Minds, register for full-time or evening classes, daily practice pass exam papers for proficiency at the grade 2, 4, and 6 assessment, and CXE exam preparedness. Or join our Becca Phonics reading and writing program. So if your child is for preschool, nursery, or primary level, come to Smart Mind, located at 69 Crow Street, or call 231-4885 or 600-9229 to enroll now.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny? I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again. Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Sneakily with a gift of sight from modern optical services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Our smiles make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services, 316 Mill Street, Georgetown. Telephone 226-1082.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets. outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton, and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
Welcome back. Now let's take a look at what's happening in the region and around the world. Prime Minister of Dominica, Roosevelt Skerrit, expressed optimism about reaching an agreement with the UK to reverse visa restrictions imposed on Dominicans. The UK implemented the restrictions for migration and border security reasons, citing abuse of Dominica's citizenship by investment schemes. Skerrit mentioned positive communication with the UK, efforts to enhance the CBI program, and a recent MOU with other Eastern Caribbean states to improve transparency and due diligence. He remains hopeful for the reinstatement of visa-free travel between Dominica and the UK. Internationally, police in Somalia says at least 5 people have been killed and 20 injured after an explosion in the capital. The car bomb went off outside a busy cafe in Mogadishu. Al Jazeera's Alex Beard reports.
It was supposed to be a night of football, but ended like this. A car bomb caused a huge fire at this popular Mogadishu cafe, packed with football fans watching the Euro 2024 final.
I had stepped away when the attack happened here. I called my colleagues and they told me that a suicide car bomb exploded in front of the bar. People were just watching the football match.
The armed group Al-Shabaab has claimed responsibility for the attack, which caused extensive damage to nearby buildings and cars. It happened in a well-guarded area near the presidential palace, frequented by government workers.
I fell down on the ground and was shocked when I heard that there was a suicide attack at the bar. I lost my beloved colleagues and customers. I pray for them all.
Al-Shabaab has been fighting the government for control of Somalia for more than 17 years. It launches frequent attacks against government targets and has carried out many deadly bombings like this across the country. Somalia's president has vowed all-out war against the group, but attacks like this in the centre of the capital prove that the war is far from over. Alex Beard, Al Jazeera.
Meanwhile, rights group says several people have been abducted, interrogated, and released since the recent anti-government protests in Kenya. More than 40 people have been killed, many of them shot by police. Demonstrations began last month over a government plan to increase taxes. Al Jazeera's Malcolm Webb reports.
Joshua Akwayo says he'd just left his home when men bundled him into a car, handcuffed him and put a bag over his head. It was the day after protesters in Nairobi entered Parliament 2 weeks ago. Joshua was there.
We need to make our own decisions.
He's a student leader at Kenya's law school. He says he doesn't know where he was detained, but he was interrogated and beaten.
They were asking me questions I didn't have answers to.
He says they asked him who was organising and funding the protests.
It's an experience I don't like to remember because every time I remember, I get disoriented.
The leaderless demonstrations were initially against a finance bill that would have raised taxes and widespread corruption. After police killed dozens of protesters, many started calling for President William Ruto and his government to resign. Police have arrested hundreds of people. More than 180 of them were brought here, the Milimani law courts, and charged with various crimes including looting and destruction of property. They've all since been released on bail. Defence lawyers say they were arrested for exercising their constitutional right to protest, while police let the looters walk free. This CCTV footage shows prominent social media activist Shad Khalif being bundled into a car days before a protest.
The people who have been abducted and then released have said that they've been in the company of police officers. No higher authority than the deputy president
has declared to the nation about 2 weeks ago that the intelligence and the security services have been abducting people, and therefore we have been very concerned that this seems to be part of a policing strategy that has no basis under our law.
President Ruto has said the abductions will be investigated and those responsible held to account.
Used to come over here.
That hasn't reassured activists like Bill Eugene Amolo, who says he was abducted last month and forced to sit naked in a room flooded with cold water for 24 hours. After he was released, he fled Nairobi.
I just miss home, and I personally feel like, I'm a refugee in my own country.
Bill says he took part in the protests to defend Kenya's constitution. Many of the demonstrators say, whether it's policing protests or managing public funds, all they ask is for a government that follows the law. Malcolm Webb, Al Jazeera, Nairobi.
Finally, former US President Donald Trump has made his first public appearance since being shot and injured at a campaign rally on Saturday. He was cheered by delegates at the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where he also announced his running mate. Al Jazeera's Alan Fisher reports.
Thank my lucky stars to be living here today.
A moment of support, of acclaim and adoration. A little more than 48 hours since the attempt on his life, Donald Trump made his first real public appearance, walking into the Republican National Convention to be met by people who already thought he was a hero. A bandage over the wound on his ear, clear to see. He didn't speak, that will come on Thursday. This was about reassuring the party base and revelling in the support. And repeating the word he uttered to the crowd after he was shot. He was joined in the VIP box by the man he announced as his running mate, Ohio Senator J.D. Vance, once an avowed anti-Trumper, comparing him at one point to Hitler, now a MAGA diehard. It was a decision which brought delight from delegates.
He brings a lot to the ticket. For one thing, a different age level, and that's what we need, because we need to carry it on. Some of us are getting up there in years, so we got to bring on the new generation to carry it on.
But a warning from one analyst about the wider appeal of the 39-year-old former Marine.
J.D. Vance, though he's from Ohio and wrote this wildly popular book, Hillbilly Elegy, that hit a great chord for a lot of folks, I think he lacks charisma, and I don't think he's quite the type of candidate that could have vast appeal to a general election audience.
Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene.
There was talk that Trump's brush with death would lead to a kinder, gentler tone at this convention. More about unity than division, more about respect than rancour. But that didn't stop many on the platform falling into familiar ways.
They promised unity and delivered division. They promised peace and brought war.
Today's Democrat agenda, their policies, are a clear and present danger to America, to our institutions, our values, and our people.
Donald Trump will address the convention on Thursday. A different speech, a different tone hinted at by his team from a man whose campaign was almost ended by a bullet. Alan Fisher, Al Jazeera, at the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee.
This brings us to the end of the regional and global news coverage. Up next is the 3-day weather forecast. And that's it, TV2 Headline News for this Tuesday evening. As we take our leave, we invite you to follow us on Facebook and YouTube. You can tune in tomorrow at 6:30 a.m. for a rebroadcast and at 7 p.m. for more news. Until then, please take care of yourself and each other.